Gave a few extra minutes over here to be able to, the fruits, like have a Tu B'Shvat. Shkoyach, thank you very much for being Masada. I appreciate it. Some asked in the previous year, Taka Tu B'Shvat, I spoke about, maybe it was even on Shechianu. So Bais Hashem, Oid Chazoy L'moyed, a different opportunity. We're learning Hilchos Krias Hatorah. Obviously, Krias Hatorah is when you're lame. There's many halachas. Baruch Hashem was spending a few months going through properly the halachas. In the previous year, we saw that besides the Krias Hatorah itself, there's also, before the Krias Hatorah and after the Krias Hatorah, the Haitzah v'Achnasa. In tonight's year, I want to focus on something else that's also not the Krias Hatorah itself, something that's relevant depending on the minig, either before Krias Hatorah or after Krias Hatorah. Anybody? The text didn't go out. Hagbah, very good. Hagbah and Gelilah. In today's Shiur, Bais Hashem, we're going to focus just on Hagbah, and Bais Hashem, there'll be a future Shiur Lagabi Gelilah. As we mentioned, Hagbah, some have the minig before. The Shulchan Aruch brings Hagbah before Hilchos Krias Hatorah, because you do Hagbah before. Gelilah, obviously, to close up the Sefer Torah, everybody does afterwards. But Hagbah, the Machaber brings it earlier, the minig by the Ashkenazim is to do it later. What's the Makor?
Some of the Hasidim did it before.
Richtig, yeah, Chabad, others. We'll go into it a little bit more maybe in the next Shiur Lagabi Gelilah. Hagbah, what's the Makor to do Hagbah? It has nothing to do in the Chelek of Krias Hatorah. We'll see Behemshech. What's the Makor? The Makor is a Masechta Sofrim. The Masechta Sofrim says to do Hagbah. The Ramban, it's Yerushalmi also. The Yerushalmi. And the Ramban in Parshas Kisavai, on the Orors, the last Oror, Ashla Yokem is Divrei HaTorah Zois. So the Ramban says, in the second Pshat, he says that the Pshat is, it's referring to somebody who doesn't pick up the Sefer Torah, and we'll go through the halachas. Somebody who's not Makayim, the Din Hagbah. Of them, that's what the Torah is speaking about, this Oror. It's Yerushalmi. The Masechta Sofrim just says the halachas of Hagbah that we're going to speak about, quoted in the Shulchan Aruch, Kuf Lamed Daled Bais, the halachas of Hagbah. But to plug it in to the pasuk in the Torah, the Yerushalmi Masechta Soita, Ksiv Orura Shelo Yakem Es Divrei HaTorah Hazois. Zok the Yerushalmi V'chiyesh Torah Noifeles. What does it mean? Ashela Yakem, the Torah is shaykh, the Torah is falling. Zokte, one of the pshatim in the Yerushalmi, Shim ben Yakem Oimer, Zeh HaChazen Shehu Oimid. What does it mean, Zeh HaChazen Shehu Oimid? So the Carbonade explains, Zeh HaChazen Oimid U'Magbia Sefer Torah Marak Sav. You're supposed to pick up the Sefer Torah. What's Hagbah? Hagbah is you pick up the Sefer Torah and you show everybody what we just read. You show the ksav of the Sefer Torah. We're going to go through Bais Hashem the halachas. Is Hagbah chiv midoraisa? It's on the pasuk. The Ramban, the Yerushalmi also, but it's on the pasuk. Orur Ashela Yakum. It's referring to somebody who doesn't do Hagbah. That says that he's a chiv min Torah to do Hagbah. So the Chidah, very interesting, brings a story of a town that they didn't do Hagbah. There's a tumult, how could you not do Hagbah? There's a Masechta Sofrim, there's a Ramban. So he says it's Einoi Ela Asmachta. Das heißt, L'cha'ora, I looked it over a few times, L'cha'ora meaning to say is that it isn't even a Chiyuv. Sometimes you can learn it's a Asmachta, but it's a Chiyuv de Rabbanon. It's not even a chiv, it's a smachta, it's a maila, it's an inyan. He continues on to be matzdik why they didn't do it. We'll get to it soon, we'll go into it a little bit. But even if no one was able to do it, it was too heavy of a Sefer Torah. But before that, what'd you say? Lamaisa is like this. Lamaisa, if the pshat is sakanta that it's going to fall down, so even if it's a chiyuv, you can't do it. We'll get to it soon. Pashtus, he says that there isn't even a chiyuv. On the Pirush and the Ramban, how he learns, he says is that he's a chiyuv, but it's not a chiyuv min Hatorah. But al koponim, from the chidah, it's clear that it's not a chiyuv min Hatorah, maybe a chiyuv min Rabbanon, or maybe no chiyuv. The whole Hagbah that we're going to be speaking about tonight. Mi'idach, the Tshuvas Chassam Sofer. It's a very interesting tshuva that Chassam Sofer speaks about when he made a chnas a Sefer Torah. He gave in a Sefer Torah. So he was asked why when he made a chnas, when he wrote the Sefer Torah, he made sure that the amudim, the klaf, were sewn together and also connected to the Atzei Chaim, to the poles at the end of the Sefer Torah, twofold. First of all, like what's Mavurin in Shulchan Aruch and the Rambam in Shulchan Aruch and Yeridea, with gidim, with threads, you attach it with threads. V'oid, as we see in our Sifrei Torah, there's also like a piece of klaf that attaches, maybe it looks a little bit like a band-aid, attaches one armor to the next. So in the tshuva, they asked him, like, where's this? What are you doing both? Why is it negeya? So the Chassam Sofer says the following. He says, and that's how he ends off, and he says, being that Hagbah is korev l'deiraisa, doesn't say mamash, it's a chiyuv min Hatorah, but it's korev l'deiraisa. Says the Chassam Sofer, I want to make sure and be careful that when you pick up the Sefer Torah, it should be strong, not just with gidim, also with the klaf, it should be fest. At kedei kach, it's recorded in the Minhagei Vermaiza more than once. Rachmanu litzlan, the Sefer Torah fell down because it got detached. Either both sides fell, or even just one side fell. It fell off. It got detached. So Mamela says the Chassam Sofer, he doesn't bring that, but he says that's why I did a double chizuk. But al kapanim negeil in Yoneinu, he says that Hagbah is korev l'deraisa. However you learn, if it's a chiyuv min Hatorah, it's a chiyuv min Rabbanon, it's a maila, that's klar, zok the chidani, it's in other places as well also, that avada, if you can't do a Hagbah, to say if chas v'shalom is a tzad, like you said before, chamir sakant, if there's a tzad, the Sefer Torah is going to fall down, you don't do Hagbah. Klar, in Shuvas Krias the red zois, fashteitzach, it doesn't mean that you don't lane. You take out the Sefer Torah, and you lane, and you don't do Hagbah. You don't do Hagbah, but makom where chas v'shalom it's going to fall. But interesting, the Shari Ephraim brings the Eitzah. He says, Lamaisa, sometimes it's hard to do Hagbah. You have a big Sefer Torah, you're holding by Bereshis, you're holding Chveis v'Zois HaBracha, the whole weight is on one, so maybe you can't do it. So he says, B'chahai Gavna, only b'makom tzorech, otherwise it's tircha de tzibur, you could roll the Sefer Torah to the middle and you could do Hagbah. If the Sefer Torah is regardless heavy and no one could do Hagbah, you don't do it, but if you could figure it out by being goyel to the middle, you do it. It's a chiddush, because be'etzim, Parshas, it's coming up now, Parshas Shkolim or Shchai, they should take out 3 Sefer Torah, Parsha not to be matriach, to be goyel, b'chalal, even though Shkolim and it's pretty close by, not to be goyel, not to be matriach. Here he says, to be able to do Hagbah, you can be goyel. What'd you say?
Not showing what you read.
So I wanted to get to it. So where's these Amar? Where does it say? Where does it bring that you have to show dafka what you read? He just says, if you bring it up now, we'll speak about it right now. I couldn't find. Could be there is a klar Amar Makam. But if the pshat is be'etzim, you have to hit the Shar Ephraim's only problem is being goylul is that tircha de tzibur. Why are you being goylul? You should show what you read.
But you have 2 people doing Hagbah together.
Interesting. I hear. Why taka? Why not 2 people to do it? We'll speak about it in the next year about splitting the Hagbah and the Gelilah. Be'etzim, technically, it's really one. Noitos Char Kulam, it's really one. Hagbah and the Gelilah, we split it. And then there's another kibud. It's not found so much by us. The person that brings the gartel brings that. That's also brought in halacha amal. But you're saying even the Hagbah itself, the Lavdafka to split it, you machaba 2 people. But if you can, interesting aura, interesting. That l'chayr could be a eitzah also. how do you do Hagbah when you pick up the Sefer Torah? How do you do Hagbah? So these are machlokes Rishonim. What direction you're supposed to do? A lot of Rishonim say when you pick up the Sefer Torah, it's supposed to be facing outward. Understanding for us, in our terms, is what we do in Simchas Torah. You pick up the Sefer Torah facing outwards. That's taka the minig, the Svardim taka, when they show it facing it outwards. And the reason why to do it is because be'etzem, when you pick it up, if you pick up Hagbah the way the Ashkenazim do, you pick up the Sefer Torah, be'etzem you're blocking the Ksav. Good, these eights you can pick it up very high up, but be'etzem you're blocking. That's one of the reasons why to face outwards. To say it's not the way we do it, but to pick up the Sefer Torah and have the Ksav outwards. They're medayik, the Martcha brings on them around Rutenberg, and he's medayik like that from the Masechta Sofrim. The Masechta Sofrim says, Umare pnei ksivasai la'am. You could maybe say that even if you do it, picking it up facing to you, it's also la'am behind you, but they're medayik, he's medayik to say from the Masechta Sofrim is mavur, that when you pick it up, you're facing it outwards, away from you. Me'idach, the Bach brings that the minig is not to do that. The minig is to have it facing towards the Magbia. Facing towards the Magbia, I saw, but then I couldn't find it afterwards. The pshat is because to turn it around it's hard. It's hard. At Kedei Kach, we'll see in a second that the Shiur Ephraim speaks about it, that the minig taka Simchas Torah to do only ba'ofen that you're sure you could do it safely without it falling. So says it's definitely harder to switch it around. So it could be that's the reason. But Al Kapanim, these are machlokes. The Bach says the minig is to pick it up in the way that it's facing the person who picks up the Sefer Torah. However, even let's call it the minig Ashkenaz that faced when you pick up the Sefer Torah, you, the Magbia, sees, you could see the Ksav. However, Simchas Torah, the minig is to have the Ksav facing outwards away from the Magbia. The Shiur Ephraim brings already the minig like that. And there's many reasons. Many bring the Eishel Avram. I didn't see this reason inside of the Eishel Avram, but they bring B'Shem the Eishel Avram. Hafachba, the kulabas, hafachba, to turn around the Sefer Torah before you pick it up. You turn it around.
Doesn't help opening up more avuda?
What'd say? Yeah, it does help. Meaning to say, is you're saying if you're blocking, you open it more. The emes is that you could also lift it a little higher above you also. That's him, not the block.
That's hard to see.
And also when you turn around, even if you just do 3 amudim on the side, you can see. Yeah, and the Chanavi. The way, let's call it, we do it, it's Lamaisi, you could see. It's not as much as there's a little bit blocking, you could see on the side of the Magbia. One of the reasons why Simchas Torah, Fachba, the Kulaba, other reasons is because to make a statement that this is the Torah that Moshe Rabbeinu, that we read now when V'zayis HaBracha was nifta, this is the Torah that Moshe Rabbeinu gave us, or because it says that it's Noitel Schar Kulam, and to make a big deal out of it, Dafka Simchas Torah, because Simchas Torah, there's a lot of kruyim. Everybody gets an aliyah. So it's always Noitel Schar Kulam, but on the Shabbos it's 7, 8, 9 aliyahs. But over here, it's the whole shul, everybody was Oyla, Noitel Schar Kulam, that's why you turn it around, you make an Asik out of it. But the Poskim Taka say that it's only for the Kriya of V'zayis HaBracha, maybe Bereshis also, but not Mafter. Mafter, you don't. A lot of places turn around by both. The Iker, the minig is by V'zayis HaBracha, all these reasons, or the reason of Moshe Rabbeinu was Nifter. These are reasons, and also Noitel Schar Kulam is from the Sefer Torah V'zayis HaBracha. But the minig Lamais is also to switch around Bereshis, not to switch around the Mafter. Good. So we have over here, you're going to be Makayim, Hagbah, show it to everybody. How do you do it? How do you show it to everybody? So the Lashon HaMasechta Seifrim, and it's the Lashon HaShulchan Aruch also. Mare Pnei Ksiva Sefer Torah La'ama Oimdim. So the Shulchan Aruch says, how do you show it to everybody? Liyamina yu l'smoiloi, to the right, to the left, to the front, to the back. Basically with a Clarkite, everybody's supposed to see the ksav. So how do you do it? To the right, to the left? The Mishnah Berurah brings that when you start showing people, you're facing Mizrach, right? You're standing by the bima, you're facing Mizrach. You go to Dorim, towards Dorim. Dorim is Yemin. Like the Gemara says, called Poina Shata, Poina, you should go to Yemin, to the right. So if you're facing Mizrach, you turn to the right. You turn to the right. But Lamaisa, when you turn to the right, to the Dorim, interesting, who's the first people that see the smile? Lamaisa, the lashon is that the people that see it, you show it, Mara liyamina yulasmoilai.
It's facing the other way.
That's the Ksav Klapachut.
Oh, very good, very good. To say it's the machaber, the minigar svadim, the ksavas klapi chutz. If it's outside, if you turn to the right, and taka, the people on the right see first. But anachanami, if you turn to the right, but the ksavas inside, the people on the left see first. So how do you accomplish that everybody should see? So these different shuvah saram that speak about it, what's exactly the minig, turn to the right, turn to the left. Lamaisa, in Shevet, Rav Vosner says, there's no klara, the ikar is that everybody should see. At kadei kach, he says, there's no hilchos circling, there's no hilchos hakafas. What happens if you're in a shul? It's a very thin, narrow shul, and everybody's behind the Sefer Torah. You pick up the Sefer Torah, and everybody can see. There's no din, it's hakafas, you have to circle around, and go hin and go aher. Just make sure that everybody sees. That's the tachlis. The Orchos Rabbeinu brings that the Chazanish, the way he did it is he picked it up like what the Chaim says, to the right, and then he made a full circle, and that's it. So everybody saw. Being that the Hagbah, we pick up the Sefer Torah, the Orah Shel Yaakov, and the Din Hagbah is to pick up, but it's not a Din Hagbah. Avada the Taich is to be Magbiyah the Sefer Torah, but you pick up the Sefer Torah, Mara Pnei Ksiva Sefer Torah, the Tachlis of the Hagbah is that you should be able to see it, and Avada, like we just said, you turn around, you make sure everybody sees it, and if everybody's standing right behind the Sefer Torah, you don't have to turn anywhere, but you make sure that everybody should see it. Zokte Shari Ephraim, therefore the Hagbah has a the one who gets Hagbah has a responsibility to make sure that he does it benachas. You pick up and you do it quick, and people miss it, so you're taking away. It's not just a din that you pick it up and agav. Once you're picking it up, let people see. The whole picking up is so people should be able to see, so do it slowly.
Is there a din that people have to walk up and see it if they're too far away? Or maybe you should walk around with the Sefer Torah?
You're asking good. How much do you have to go from far to close? It's a good shaila. Last year, I spoke about Haitzah v'achnasa to walk towards the Sefer Torah. The Shari Ephraim says clearly, it doesn't mean to walk up all the way to the Sefer Torah, to become a lachatz of all the people. It's a good shaila. You're asking Hagbah, how much do you have to strain yourself to be able to see? The Chaim brings from a Kabbalah that when a person sees the ksav, it's mamshech ha'or gadol. But Lamaisa, to answer your shaila, the Shari Ephraim says that it's good lemedaktikim to get involved, to tap into the oisius, but a person should be careful from yuara. In other words, I'm not answering your shaila. It doesn't say that people from far away don't have to see it, but to get very intense, that's for people that are on the madrega. It's not for everybody. Again, you're asking if a person's far, how close to see. It's a good shaila. The Ben Ish Chai says that there's a maila for a person to be able to see. He brings Re'isi b'Sefer Echad, that you should try to see in the Sefer Torah the first letter from your name. Yeah, if your name's Avram, try to see an Aleph. I didn't see that these you should see what was laid. Ubefrat, let's say you're laying on a Monday and a Thursday on one Amud, and then we're going to see more. It's a Hilchos Gelilah Digadin that you're supposed to be goylel the Sefer Torah on the seam where it's connected. So either the goylel, when he's goylel, he rolls and rolls and rolls till he gets where the seam is, or the Hagbah already, he rolls to where the seam is, where the two cloths are connected, he picks it up over there. So that's in that you don't have what you just lay now. l'cha'ira, like we mentioned before from the Shari Ephraim, that says you can move to the middle of the Sefer Torah. He says not to do it tircha de tzibura. And that's him. You shouldn't do it if the din in Hagbah is to show what you just laid. Then l'cha'ira you shouldn't do it stamazai. Speaking about looking at the oisius, looking at the ksav of the Sefer Torah, the Ramah in Siman Peiches, the Ramah says that Isha is not supposed to go into Beis HaKnesses b'shas tumasa v'nida. She shouldn't go into a shul. Lamaisa, that's not the minig. However, Zok the Taz, what the minig is, yes, and the Meshurur brings it, Sivkat and Bais, even if she does go, not to look at the ksav of the Sefer Torah during Hagbah. Specifically
during Hagbah?
What'd you say?
Specifically during Hagbah? Or any time? Well, she's between.
You mean technically looking down during the whole Krias Hatorah? L'maisa, the Lashon Ataz brings the smag on the Shulchan Aruch that says of going, not to go to shul, but he says B'biyah shetizor shlei liris b'sefer Torah b'shosha chazen mar la'am. Taka says b'shosha mar, but maybe what should be the chiluk even any time, maybe any other time, be'etzim, how would she even see?
They had glass back then, they had curtains.
When there wasn't a second floor looking down.
That's from the iris.
A few more nakudas. What'd you say?
Iris are dafka being shown b'shas Hagbah. I was looking for them.
So you say maybe it's dafka
There's no tumah being
to connect. I hear. We'll see a bit more talking about in Yanim or it's Kabbalah. These are everything. These in Yanim and everything. There's another nakuda. During Hagbah, there's a few more, let's call it Prati Dinim and Hagbah. B'shas, the one who is Magbiyah the Sefer Torah, besides that you're supposed to look at the Sefer Torah to see the Oisius, he's supposed to stand up. He's supposed to stand during Hagbah. Now, even though, it's not so poshut, even though the halachas in Yeridei, when there's a moving Sefer Torah, you're supposed to stand up. That's halach in Shulchan Aruch. That's the whole nakuda, so to speak, by Simchas Torah, be'etzem, by dancing, the Sefer Torah is moving, be'etzem, you should be standing. That's not the discussion now, b'chlal. However, if the Sefer Torah is not moving, Zok Prima God, the me'ikar adin, you do not have to stand. That's why be'etzem, when the Sefer Torah is open, the Aron Kodesh is open, is the same thing. Be'etzem, me'ikar adin, you could sit. L'maisa, the minig is to stand. So memela be'etzem, what comes out lefi this is by Hagbah, be'etzem, the Sefer Torah be'etzem is not moving. Whatever, it's the person in one place. You be'etzem do not have to stand. The Magen Avram says that only the people that are on the bima, everybody else in the shul doesn't have to stand because there are different rishos. However, the El Yerabah, the Sharatzian brings it, the El Yerabah says that everybody's supposed to stand. You have to stand, he's a chiyuv. Why? Since the Hagbah is l'chvoid for the tzibur, to show the tzibur, so mele the tzibur is mechuyev to be mechaber to say Torah is a chiyuv to stand. Chiyuv to stand. Talking about in Yonim and Oiris, the Chafetz Chaim al Hatorah in Parshas Bereishis says, even though be'etzem you shouldn't have to stand during Hagbah. Why? Because the Sefer Torah is not moving. I want to read the Lashon inside. Once, they bring on the bottom in the Chafetz Chaim al Hatorah, Pam, once during Hagbah, the Chafetz Chaim said, what, you have to stand, there's no chiyuv, ubefrat. First of all, the Sefer Torah is not moving. And even if you consider it moving during Hagbah, that's only the people on the bima. Off the bima is Rishus Acher. Zok the Chafetz Chaim. Why? Because while you goyel of the Sefer Torah, Oivrim kama v'kama ilamas. The Lashon was Velten Keikelen zech. So he says, well, it's a Kabbalah zach, but he says that's why you have to stand. The halach is you have to stand by Hagbah. There's another din, the Shulchan Aruch says, v'lechroya. You're supposed to bow. You're supposed to bow. We spoke about it by the last year. I'm just going to say it very bekitzer. That's in the Shulta Geborim says, Lo matzinu, hashtachavo lefnei sefer Torah lo matzinu. We don't find such a thing. L'chayra, the pshat is lo matzinu achiev. In Bruch Shemei, that's from the Zohar, and he says, you are koireya, maybe not b'chol idam, but there are times that you bow to the Sefer Torah. One more nekuda. During Hagbah, while you look at the oisius in the Sefer Torah, at that time, Shara Ephraim says, while you see the oisius, because sometimes told the Sefer Torah gets to you, while you see the oisius, you're supposed to say v'zois HaTorah. It's the Masechta Sof from the pasuk. The pasuk is the pasuk of Eschan, v'zois HaTorah shesamay shel fnei bnei Yisrael. Then there's another part that's not brought in the Masechta Sofrim. It's a half a pasuk in Parshas Bamidbar, Al Pi Hashem B'Yad Moshe. The beginning of the pasuk is Al Pi Hashem Yachnu, Al Pi Hashem Yisou, Es Mishmeres Hashem Shemaru, Al Pi Hashem B'Yad Moshe. It's another piece of a pasuk elsewhere. There are other psukim in the Masechta Sofrim, in the Siddur of the Siddur Agra, the Siddur of the Baal HaTanya, the psukim Eitz Chaim, a few more psukim, multiple different psukim. You say these psukim. Just to focus, mamash, for a half a minute on this other chelak. We're not going to go into these other psukim and other menhagim, and yekis have other psukim that they say. There's a lot of psukim. But what a lot of Klal Yisrael says, v'zois HaTorah is the Masechta Sofrim, that other piece that's a half a pasuk, these multiple kashas, the Aruch HaShulchan has kashas, his son in the Siddur Baruch Sha'amar, the Baal Torah Tamima asks kashas as well. First of all, it's not brought on the Masechta Sofrim. V'oid, it's a half a pasuk. The Gemara says, you can't just say a half a pasuk. V'oid, what's the combination between the two psukim? What connection you're taking from Bamidbar and Devarim? How do you connect it, B'chlal? What's B'yad Moshe's Meyuter? And the emes is that some Siddurim, the Siddur, the Baal HaTanya Siddur, doesn't have it, B'chlal. And some Siddurim have it, and they have the whole pasuk. And the Siddur Agra, you look, some of them, some have it in parentheses, some have it even not in parentheses, but they have the pasuk, and they have the whole pasuk. So at least it's b'yashiv, you can't just say a half a pasuk, or pasuk. Moshe, Lamaisa, the shaila is, how does the second pasuk come in? How does it come in, b'chlal? So in Yalkut Mamloyas, Yalkut Mamloyas says that the second part of Pi Hashem Yachnu is referring to Torah Sheba'al Peh. To say neged to apakarsim, the crime. We find in other places, also in the bracha, a lot of different places where you find that we make sure to say that Torah Sheba'al Peh is the same important as well. Keneged those that tzedaikim that only believe in Torah Sheba'ksav. We just made a big deal in Torah Sheba'ksav. We just lay in Torah Sheba'ksav, but we want to say it loud and clear. Al Pi Hashem B'Yad Moshe, that the Eibishter gave over B'Yad Moshe, Doira is Torah Sheba'al Peh, what's not written. Reb Shlomo Zalman says, how does Yokem Perkim come in right after Krias Hatorah? We daven for the Rabbanim, the Talmideim. So he says, we just laid in the Torah. This is also to say that there's no Torah Sheba'ksav without Torah Sheba'al Peh. So that would be B'yashiv. The minig yet to say it's referring to Torah Sheba'al Peh. Just to conclude, we just said all of this is learned out. It's a smach that's learned out from the Oror. Lamaisa, the Gemara in Saita says that even though the Torah Akdosha only brings all the Orors, the Gemara says that there was half of the Shvatim were in Har Grizim, half in Har Evo, and every Oror had a Baruch. So Avada, we just went through now the halachas, some of the halachas in Hagbah. Avada, if you have the opportunity to do Hagbah and to do it right, Avada, we have the Baruch. We should be zoicha to get the Baruch Asher Yokem Mistivrei HaTorah Azos.